Hello everybody, welcome back to the channel. On this upload, we're gonna finally get to something that I've been wanting to do a DIY about for a long time now, and I kind of just had the right opportunity, the right amount of parts, the right car, all the right scenarios came together. So let's dive into how to rebuild your half shafts using a donor car of a B5 S4 6MT 270, aka 6-speed 01E. So the 6-speed 01E B5 S4, even the C5 A6s and several other model Audis are plagued with a problem, all right? That's CV boots. The CV boots on your OEM axles will last forever, it seems like, right? All the way up to the point they don't. The typical answer, or any shop repair, or most of you DIYers out there, would be to just go to your local auto parts store and buy a new half shaft. That's the easy answer, right? Wrong. Don't do that no more. And here's why. A lot of axles these days are coming now with core, like you don't have to re-core out your old axles. And that brings up an interesting problem that I foreshadow in the market. And that's one of the reasons why we're making this video. The problem is that half shafts are no longer being rebuilt. They're just taking them off the market. And that's their way of trying to get these old German shitbox off the road. As they should. They're starting to become like play toys for most of us, and we're making them way too fast. But because of that, that gives a prime opportunity for companies like, that's part of FCP's logo. There you go, part of FCP, part of it, there we go, right there. For companies like FCP to sell products like the one right here I have from Reen Automotive, and the one that we have from, I think, yeah, from CKN. Now, the parts that I'm getting ready to show you guys are, frankly, they're not OEM. They are equal to or better than, and that's everything that FCP offers. The aftermarket community sells products that are equal to or better than the OEM factory part. And they must meet factory specs, you know, obviously fitted, yada, 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 all those things. But that's not why we're here. You're here because you want to know how to rebuild this thing. Don't worry, I'm getting there. Give me a second. So the parts that we're going to be using for this one are the CKN 300 516 and the Reen Automotive, where's the part number? There it is. BKN 0014R. I'm going to tell you beforehand, this is a messy job, but at the end of it, you're going to get the satisfaction of knowing that not only did you save probably about $400 in part, about 3 hours depending on your labor rate, so another $400 to $600, so almost a $800 savings all in just on replacing both of your front half shafts, or one, split it in half if you only need to do one. And you get the gratification of knowing that you get to do this. Like, you don't got to go to somebody to have your car serviced, and you're going to learn a couple things along the way. I promise. Let's talk about this here real quick. What do we got? What do we have? I didn't do a video on how to take them out. Take that as an opportunity for another video. So these are your half shafts, aka CV shafts, aka axle shafts, but these are your CV shafts. So on a B5 S4, they are different. Your passenger side is not like your driver's side, so don't get them confused. You might want to mark them in some way if you want to, maybe not. Something that I'd like to note, these are OEM axles. And the reason that we want to rebuild the OEM ones and not just go buy another set, because we could, that's not a problem. Getting them is still a thing in 2023. In the future, it's gonna be more and more difficult. That said, if you have the opportunity now, my gosh, that car is so loud. Oh, if you guys couldn't hear it, Mikey, the neighbor, just shut down his rear-wheel drive B5 S4 that was sitting outside, and it was idling so loud. Like, there was a definitive drone. Are you really? Hi, sir. How are you doing?
It's open headers, basically.
That explains.
It's sound pipes.
Yeah, that explains so much.
I'm waiting for my friend's lift to open up. So
oh, this one? This one, yeah. It's got your cousin on it. This is what it looks like underneath of it, if you were curious. It stops right there though on the exhaust side. The rack will be technically available tomorrow, but we got to do like musical car chairs because we got to get the Juan's race car out. I got to shoot a promo video burnout with the race car for the traction car. You guys, actually, No, this will be out in time. All right, I'm gonna stop us right here. I know we're in the middle of doing a half shaft video. We have partnered with Traction Concepts LSD, the #1 provider in LSD conversions on the market, hands down. And probably one of the best LSD conversions you can buy. Guys, I have been working with Traction Concepts for over 2 years now, developing the perfect LSD for your rear-wheel drive Audi or all-wheel drive Audi. It does not matter. We have partnered with Traction Concepts to give away 1 free kit and 1 RwdyAudi swag pack. One of you guys is going to win it. Now, this giveaway goes live October 12th, 2023, and is gonna stay live until October 15th of 2023. I'm gonna announce the winner on October 18th, so if you guys are watching this in 2050, well, you're about 25 years too late. I apologize. That said, this is your opportunity. If you've ever wanted a Traction Concepts LSD and you just weren't sure whether or not it was a thing for you, now's the chance that you can get a chance to get one for free. All you gotta do, it's so simple. So, if you wanna get entered, all you gotta do, subscribe to RwdyAudi YouTube channel, follow Traction Concepts on Instagram, and make sure to share this post. And most importantly, don't forget to go over to the community tab, put your best guests in there, and then all you do is sit back, wait, cross your fingers, and hope that you are the lucky winner. And just because I was feeling froggy as well, guys, I took 30% off all the ship-a-diff services on RwdyAudi.com between today and October 15th. Everything's 30% off on there. So if you've ever wanted to get your diff rebuilt or serviced or was considering having an LSD installed but you didn't want to do it yourself, now's the perfect opportunity. Save some money and snag yourself up an LSD conversion and a fresh diff rebuilt.
Should we do a side-by-side burnout?
How about we just chain them together?
That would work, because then I don't have to use my brake.
That works. We'll chain them together.
Yeah, because
there's this ratchet strap over there.
The ABS still works.
What's that? What's that?
Shouldn't be on there.
No, we don't have that. You don't need that. Get rid of that. Okay, so somebody like Mikey here who happens to have a stockpile of axles, and we're just using you as an example. He doesn't have them yet. He hasn't broken them. But let's say you're somebody like Mikey. He's got his B5 S4. He's got a stockpile of axles, and he doesn't want to like buy new ones and just break them. So he's going to take them apart, put them all back together, and make good axles. What do? Because you've already got, more than likely have ruined boots. Well, you jump over to FCP, pick up these parts. These are for the fronts. They make one specifically for the rear, but the application is the same. Anyway, you're gonna continue to watch this tutorial and follow along. Meanwhile, I still never finished my thought from earlier. The point I was making was, don't throw your old axles away. Use these. If you split a set, buy 1 set of axles, and then you can always just have an instant set to replace. Also, if you listen around to all the people on the internet, aftermarket axles are really cheap. They're built with crappy steel, which basically makes them like toothpicks when you get traction. That's why I digress about it. Anyway, let's get into building this thing. It's pretty straightforward. First thing we gotta do is we need to take this side off, because this all gets stacked on there. You'll understand what I mean by that. But at the end of this, you're gonna have a brand new, shiny, like new, remanufactured axle. Side note, never mind, we'll get into it as we go. All right, let's get dirty.
Johnny out for the day?
Yeah, he's out for today. All right, so the first thing we gotta do here is on the bottom, there is a C-clip. It's right there. You're gonna need a set of C-clip pliers, probably a couple towels. Don't let your wife know you're robbing the nice ones, or be smart and ask your wife for the nasty ones, one of the two. The C-clip, you can get a set of C-clip pliers. Get them at Harbor Freight. Spend $500 from Snap-on if you want. Whatever your cup of tea is. You need to take that off.
Nailed it.
Perfect. At this point, your boot might be split, might not be. If it is, you don't got to do a lot here. Just pull this off. If it happens to not be split already, there is a band right here that you can cut. Don't cut your fingers. Remember, cut towards your friends. I don't know if I can say that, but we're gonna give it a go.
I know if Donnie was standing there, he'd be gassed right now, dude.
We can go ahead and cut this boot the rest of the way off. If you want, there you go. It's just rubber on your new one when you put your new boot on. There's actually no clamp on this end. This can technically spin free. There's it'll actually sit in this pocket right here, and that'll be what your seal is to keep your axle grease from flinging everywhere. Now that we got that C-clip off, we got our boot off, this becomes the first messy bit. We need to take all of this off right here. There we go. Perfect. Oh, let's just set that down for 1 second. I think it's this one. Yeah. So inside your kit, your whatever brand this is, CKN, that's it. You're gonna get a new boot, some axle grease, some bolts, an axle seal, and a new C-clip. I'm not a fanboy. If you haven't ruined your C-clip, use your old one. We need to get this ring off. Now this part of the boot may just come off, may not. That's disgusting. Is that real? Is that really what CKN stands for? Chinese knockoff? No, it's GKN. GKN. My bad, guys. My bad. All right, so this collar comes off. There's a couple different ways to get this off. Whatever method works best for you here. I like the hammer and pry bar method. All right, before we get too rowdy about tearing this thing apart, I want you guys to notice something very specific. There's a small divot here, large divot, small divot, large divot, small divot, large divot. On the inside bearing race, the center one, it's opposite. So it's large, small, small, large, large, small, small, large. And it continues on. If you don't put this back that way, it won't move. This joint has to move freely. It has to articulate, okay? If you put it back the other way, and we'll do it later on purpose, you'll see that this joint won't move at all. It'll be a rock solid piece. Don't do that. You're begging for problems. You're probably gonna, it's probably how I broke a couple bearing races in the past on doing this same job. Big deal.
Notice the lack of twists in the spline. The owner is afraid to drive his car.
Jordan, that was definitely a shots fired moment. 100%. Your axle is very straight.
It is nice.
Yeah, do you like that taper at the end there? Yeah. I'll put a link in the description below for these things. They work really well for taking them apart. They suck complete utter ass for putting them together. These ones work way better, and they're made for pecs. Buy them at Lowe's. They're like $9.99. Cheap. All right, don't cut yourself. Slice this boot off here. Genuine grease for constant velocity. I want non-genuine grease. What's non-genuine grease? So a couple things about this inner one. If you want to clean this all apart and break it down, you can. We are not going to. This is simply a rebooting video, and the inside one is nasty. The outside one, not so bad. If you want to take this apart, inside of here, there's a ledge. I'm gonna get all sorts of nasty in here. This end presses apart. You actually have to knock the outer axle cup off of the inner shaft. This is a press fit. There's a lock ring in there. This is a glorified pain in the butt to take apart and put back together. I am sure somebody out there on the internet has made a really clever DIY for this that everyone will love. I don't rebuild this in if I don't have to. That's the blunt truth. I just clean them out and repack them. If the grease doesn't show any big globs or crusty stuff in it, honestly, reboot it, send it, fill it with more grease, and have fun. It's fine. It moves. It's not like hanging up or anything. There's not an excessive amount of play in it. You're good. Just put grease in it and send it.
There we go.
All right. So in the new rain kit, we get a new axle boot, a new axle nut, more axle grease. Oh. No, this is with the other kit. This is with the GKN. Those boys give us volts. We also get some miscellaneous hardware bits for different axles. Now, this kit is used for several different makes and models of car. It's not just an Audi thing, so that's why you have all this hardware. You may have leftover pieces after this is done. So I went over about this guy. Hopefully, GoPro didn't get hot and like lose it all, but we need to put this boot on first. You could try to use a tool like this if you wanted. This is a really clever one. So first thing you want to do, guys, is you want to put your outer boot on first, and just take a little bit of this good old-fashioned used axle grease and apply it to the shaft up here. We can wipe it off. I probably shouldn't have done it earlier. Probably should have wiped all the old stuff off earlier, but it is what it is. Trying to keep the dirt levels down. You want to shove it on cup first and go down. Oh. It's not gonna just go easy peasy. It's going to be a pain. I promise it's not easy. It's just dirty. Sorry, I promise it's easy, just very, very dirty. It's not clean. I'm a fan of the twisting, stroking motion, but you know what? You do whatever gets you through the down the shaft. Is that a good one? Yeah. Whatever gets you down the shaft. Sometimes we can go back here. Be careful not to rip it. There is a ledge here. You can. Here we go. Perfect. We need grease. Yeah.
And just in the boot?
Yeah, just smother it in there like you're dressing a cake. A little bit. It'd be like a bad night of Mexican.
Dude, I fucking...
Could you imagine that coming out? No, that would be disgusting.
That's death.
Yeah.
Bring it down more. Chocolate mousse.
Chocolate mousse. I bet it don't taste like chocolate mousse, though. You won't. Put your chocolate. Take a bite. How's it taste?
Absolutely nothing.
Absolutely nothing.
There's no taste.
What?
Like, no joke.
You're right. There's
nothing.
There's no taste to it whatsoever.
Nothing at all.
That's so weird. All right. Try to keep this thing clean. You want to try to keep this seal clean some if you can, but it probably won't stay that way. All right. So inside your kit, they do give you one. You could have put it on. They give you one for the inside, which is kind of catch-22 because you can't really get it on there the way it is. So the trick here is you just gotta squeeze it together like that. You're gonna open it up some. Ow! Oh, all right, thanks. You got me in the collarbone earlier, now the elbow. Just wrap it around there. So the tool is supposed to come in here, grab those ledges and squeeze. It kind of sucks. So what I like to do, I like to grab my PEX style ones, give this a light squeeze, and there you go. Bada bing, bada boom. You've resealed the end of it. Now we gotta do this one up here. So this is actually a universal band clamp. The one I had for this, we won't discuss it, but we screwed it up. But the principle is the exact same. Put your clamp on. These ones are just a little bit larger than your average. And the locks are on the inside. So you slide that edge over like that. Same thing, bring your tool in here, grip it, squish it. Don't cut your boot. There we go. All right, there you go. You got one axle completely done. All right, so now that we got the outer rebooted, we've got the axle straps on it. For all intents and purposes, the outer's all done, right? Let's move on to the inner CV shaft, inner half of the CV shaft. That would be this bit right here. Now, most of your road gunk, grime, all the crap that goes wrong seems to be located in this one. Now, you can 100% spray this sucker out with all the brake clean you want. Throw it in your parts washer if you have one. Not even bother with any of that and just repack it with grease and send it and put it all together. 100%. You can do that. My OCD and the fact that we're making content about how to do this, I can't do it that simply. So we're gonna go ahead, break this stuff all down. I'm gonna clean it all up, and then we're gonna show you guys how to put it back together, because in that raw and unfortunate event, you guys might accidentally drop this thing and scramble it all up, and then get really frustrated with how to put it back together. So I want to make sure that we cover our bases. We're going to do that after I clean this thing up, and then we're going to make it a mess again. But let's get it done. So to get rid of the last little bit of grime, the rust and everything, we're gonna just put this stuff all in the sonic cleaner. Make sure it's all in there. Use a little YouTube magic and we'll come back and this will be done. Oh. All right. So we got our bits all clean, ready to go, and we're gonna put this thing back together. Well, it's not that difficult from this point. What we need to do is we need to install this bit right here. Now this bit just needs to go straight down over the shaft here, and we need to slide it down. Then we're going to put this piece together, everything that we cleaned with the sonic cleaner and prepped, ready to go back together. Anyway, before all the freaking GoPro batteries die, let's get this thing assembled, put together, and let's show you guys how to finish doing this, because literally I had these batteries charging and they're saying they're dead. So here we go. I like to do, we're going to take a little bit of grease, rub it around the edge of the tip here. Not a lot, just a little bit. Just enough to lubricate this sleeve as we put it down. Not enough to make a giant mess. There we go. Perfect. Pull it back up. Now that we got that piece on there, this piece is pretty straightforward. So you want to start with your axle cup. Lie, don't start with that. Start with this piece, and you want to install the center bearing race inside of your outer bearing race, like that, okay? Then this piece needs to go inside of there. But you need to pay attention to what direction you install it, okay? So, this ridge right here needs to face downwards towards the bottom. Flat side faces up towards your C-clip. Flat side also faces up towards this ridge that you have in the outside of your axle flange. I told you guys earlier I was gonna do this, but we're gonna put this together wrong, only so you guys can see what's what and how it works, okay? I'm gonna use the right method to install the bearings just so it's a visual representation of what kind of to do, and you can see it done twice, and you'll see, hopefully see the difference. So what I like to do, just take one ball bearing, slide it in there, take another, and slide it in that side, and then just work your way around, like so. There it is. Okay, so it did give me the last one the wrong way. So this is the wrong way of doing it. Do you notice that large side, small side, small side? That way is not cool. You can install it the wrong way. So when you install it the wrong way, you'll notice that the axle cup doesn't want to move at all. It's seized up in place. If you try to move things around, like you move the bearing race, it'll start to wobble some. It's not right though. So let's take it back off. There we go. So now that we've installed it the wrong way, let's go ahead and install it the right way so that you guys understand it. So it's pretty straightforward. Let's start with just popping all the bearings back out of it here. It's kind of a hassle if you've, there we go. This time you want to line these little hashes up with one of these big hashes right here, okay? Or little sections, I don't know what you want to call them. Places, areas, spaces, grooves, notches. Use the same method on installing your bearings. Start on one side, work them around, and just rotate the unit around. Okay. Now you'll probably notice at a certain point this time that your joint is much more pliable and a lot easier to rotate. All right. And I installed it upside down. Womp womp. Just another prime example that you can do this backwards. So now that you got the bearings all going the right direction, you'll notice that flange, small, big, and the joint moves a lot easier. So now that you have it together, now we're gonna go back to installing it. Now you wanna go back and install it. Remember, put this side down onto your shaft, Line up your splines. Might have to give it a little tap, tap, tap-a-rooney. Get your C-clip. Go ahead and install it. You'll notice right off get that your bit joint 10 times easier. It moves freely, every direction, just like it's supposed to. So, at this point, guys, you got a couple options. A, you can pack it full of grease. Set it, leave it just like it is, put it up there. Option B, which is the smarter of the two, is go ahead and start packing each one of these bearing slots with grease, and then put a pouch of axle grease down in here and pack axle grease up inside the top of there. That's the option we're gonna go with. And then finally, I'm gonna use the zip tie just to line up our bolt holes, hold everything in place so that while you're waiting to put it either in your car or send it to a client, whatever you're doing, you'll be ready to go for when it needs to get installed. So let's get this thing full of axle grease and we'll get this job finished up. Last thing I like to do is I like to take a zip tie, pop it up through a hole, random hole, doesn't matter what hole. Preferably, don't have your zip tie covered in axle grease. Zip tie, oh shoot. And for the most part, that is how you rebuild a half shaft. It's pretty rudimentary, it's very, very crude, but it gets the job done. It's a messy job, but somebody's got to do it. And you're probably the perfect person to do it because you found this video. So if you like this video, you found value in it, smashing that like button. And if you want to see more content just like this, simple DIYs, probably the channel for you. All we do every day is fix German ship boxes and try to keep your car on the road. So thanks for watching. Thanks for subscribing. I'll see you in the next one. Peace. I'm Audi.